Okay, whew. Video 6 is a rough one. If you're feeling it, I'm with you. It can be really hard topics of conversation, but the good news is this is video 7, and we're starting to turn the corner into putting all the pieces back together in the closet. Okay, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to paint your ideal, which is kind of a strange phrase, but I'll explain it. So, we talked a little bit about where you are now, what's going well and what isn't, and now we want to talk about what you want it to look like. Sometimes we have expectations and things we want of our relationship that we may not even notice, and we definitely haven't communicated. So, what we want to work together is to kind of communicate and paint that ideal relationship. If you look at your worksheet, you can see that we're going to do this in 3 different time frames. So what I want you to think about is what you want your relationship to look like today. So let's talk about very present, very specific, what we want it to look like today. But we also want to be thinking about what do we want this relationship to look like in 10 years? And then what do we want it to look like at the end? So I use the end to mean if you're watching this series and you're putting in the time, I'm going to make an assumption that you're in a committed relationship. And we're talking like till death do us part type of commitment. If that's the case, the end is when we're old and gray and using walkers. What do we want that to look like? What do we want our relationship to look like? So we're going to kind of paint our ideal for all of those time frames. And when I say paint our ideal, here's what I want us to do. What we're going to do is we're going to use the fluffy words and then we're going to Bob Ross it. Okay, so use the fluffy words and Bob Ross it. I'll explain what that means. So let's walk through this looking at that standpoint of the end. Okay, so let's pretend we are painting what we want the end to look like. So if I am telling you about my marriage, I've been married for 18 years, feels like a really long time, and we have a long road ahead of us, right? So thinking about what we want it to look like is important. So if I were to tell you that at the end of my marriage, I hope that we are still very much in love, we have fun together, and we have a strong, healthy family. That's good, right? That's fair. That sounds like a very nice thing. But honestly, those words are kind of fluffy. What does it mean to have a happy marriage, still be in love? Like, what does that even mean? That could mean a lot of different things. So that's what I mean by fluffy words. So now we're going to Bob Ross it, right? Everyone familiar with Bob Ross? If you're not, if you are too young for Bob Ross, that makes me feel old, and go hop on YouTube and watch him for a second. It'll be very amusing. And it helps us kind of think about how to move past the fluffy words. So in this picture I have right here, Bob Ross is painting a very nice mountain scene, right? It's lovely. But if you were to say, I have painted a beautiful mountain lake scene, it's still kind of fluffy. What Bob Ross does is he goes through and he adds happy little trees, right? So he tells you what he's doing. He has a happy little bird up here. What he does is he makes it specific. So I want you to take your fluffy words about your relationship. So we hope that we are still in love. What does in love mean? What does that look like? Does it mean you hold hands at the grocery store? Does it mean you play cribbage on Sunday afternoon? What would in love look like? And I want you to do this exercise for those 3 separate time frames. I don't care what direction you go, that's kind of up to you. But think about what the fluffy words are for your relationship now and what that would practically look like, what you hope that looks like in 10 years, and then what you hope that looks like at the end. You may have some differences in this, and that's okay. What we're looking for is both listening to each other. If there's differences, listening and understanding the other one is incredibly important. And we're looking for those places where we're shared and unified, because those are the places we can start working towards today when we start the next video. Okay, enjoy. Make your happy little trees.